One thing I'm going to speak on is our lack of preparation in time of natural disaster or any form of emergency. We already know that we live in a society that don't give a damn about our people or our community. And they have proven this time and time again. Time and time again, they have proven this. We are responsible and accountable for how we respond to our oppression. Our community lack of stability and organization is on us. I don't care what the government do, what the white folks do. Ultimately, it's up on us to respond in our own best interest. We have hurricanes and natural disaster every year, but yet we have yet to prepare ourselves. Who do we blame for that? Hurricane Katrina clearly showed us, without any doubt, what the government's all about us and our communities. In New Orleans, our people, and I'm really speaking about the New African community, the New African Independence Movement, and other activists, we knew that the government didn't give a damn about us. But yet, we did not take responsibility to prepare our community. We blame the very government that we know that don't give a damn about us. I asked a lot of them activists during and after Hurricane Katrina, what prevented you from preparing our community? What stopped you from doing it? There's no way you could have relied on the enemy government to do it, but you did. This is on you, not them. They did what they're supposed to have done. What they did to our communities, when they ignored and dismissed our community and failed to prepare our community for natural disaster, that's what they're supposed to be doing. Well done job on their part. As revolutionaries, as New African revolutionary activists, what is our excuse? Why we didn't take responsibility to prepare our people and community for a natural disaster? Whose responsibility is that? Especially when we say we are vanguards. We are the first responder in the needs of our people. But yet how we respond, by sitting here saying, well, the government did this, the government did that. We are almost, 20-something years removed from Hurricane Katrina, and we still have yet to prepare our community for a natural disaster. But yet we talk all that talk in 2005 about what this government didn't do or what they did do. But yet here we are, 2024, almost 20 years removed from Hurricane Katrina. And what have we done? And I'm not speaking about individual effort, individual family. I'm talking about as a community. As a community, we're still not prepared. And many of our individuals is not prepared. So who do we blame this on? Right now, Louisiana got hit with a level 2 hurricane. Where are we at? Why they are not prepared for that natural disaster? Who do we blame on that? We have to take responsibility for the conditions of our community and how we respond to racial oppression and fascism. We are ultimately responsible for how we respond to it. Sitting here crying about what the enemy government is doing is not going to solve none of the problems. They doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, kicking our ass and keeping us oppressed. That's their job. Pumping our community with drugs and guns. That's their job. It is our job, and we have to take full responsibility. If we say that we are our own liberator, like Comrade Jalil Mutakim, Comrade Jalil wrote a book, We Are Our Own Liberator. There's an opposite to that too. We can also be our own oppressor. And that's based on what we do. I'm not going to sit here and wait till the fascist, racist government to have our heart and reach out to us. We have only perpetuated our oppression. We have contributed. We are co-conspirators, indirectly or by proxy, in our own oppression. And I reiterate this all the time, especially with the education, the so-called education system. They ban our history, our story from the state of Florida, but yet we still allow our kids to go to the school to learn that white history that we know for a fact is a lie. But we'll continue talking about what the government did. But we have control over what school our kids go to. We have control over that much. We don't want our kids to listen to that white history. You say that our history teach white guilt. Well, your history teach black inferiority. We don't want no part of that. But are we doing that? No. But who are we going to blame for that? They are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They understand the importance of our true story. They're going to remove from state to state. They are going to remove it. There's 18 other states talking about doing the same thing. I'm just using this as an illustration on how we are not taking responsibility for the role we play. We are ultimately responsible for responding to our oppression as a people, as a community. We know it's a key fact. In order for us to be effective in this struggle, we must stabilize our community. Is our community stable? Do we have the capacity to provide food and water to our community? I'm not talking about passing out no grocery bags. Because the food, that's one element. I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying, that is not the answer solution to the problem. Because as I've often said, the food that is in that grocery bag belongs to our oppressor, our opposition. So we still relying on them to feed our community. Because if they shut down the pantries, how are we going to feed our community? We must develop our own institutions, not just programs, but institutions. We must unite these New African farms under one banner. We have to stabilize our community. We are ultimately responsible for how we respond. It's that simple. If we're serious about this, we can resolve the gang and crime problem in our community without working with the pigs. Who understand this problem better than we do? We understand the source. We understand what perpetuates this mentality. We understand that better than anyone. We don't need to work with no pigs in government to resolve the crime and gang problem in our community, but it must be resolved. As long as there's violence and crime and drugs in our community, it's going to destabilize us. It's going to impact how effective we are. Again, we are like checker players involved in a chess game, and we're constantly getting checkmate and trying to figure out why. Because you think one move at a time. Again, as I stated, we are almost 20 years away from Hurricane Katrina, and we still have yet to prepare our community for a natural disaster. That same night Hurricane Katrina hit, I wrote a manual, a survival guide. I rewrote it because I had to go back to the board, to do more homework. At the time, I didn't have all the full knowledge of what it entails. I had basic understanding from when I was on the streets over 40 years ago, when I was trained, but that was not sufficient. So the thing is, when I seen Hurricane Katrina, the first thing I did, I wrote a survival manual. But it wasn't up to par. So what I did my homework. One of the things I did, I had my supporters buy me books on emergency response information, on survivalists. Send me all them books and manuals. I read and studied, right? So within 3 months, I rewrote my emergency response manual and sent it to the streets. But also, I was having the copies distributed. Now, we also have a website now. And I developed that website. And the point I'm making is because I was in solitary confinement, isolation at the time, I did not use it as an excuse. As a revolutionary activist, I did not use it as an excuse. If you've been trained and blessed with the ability and capacity to solve problems, then being in prison or in isolation is no excuse. So even though I was in solitary, I made no excuse. I developed that proposal, that pamphlet. It have expanded now. We have a website now. So what I'm saying is I don't use my environment as an excuse. I will never use my environment as an excuse. Me and my comrades, we have developed proposals and implemented those proposals ourselves. From in here and with our comrades on the streets. There's no excuse. Our whole focus is to stabilize our community, empower our community with the capacity to do for themselves. We can't keep blaming the government for our own failure to act in our own best interest, because that's what we do. If you look right now, many of the communities in the South is being hit with hurricanes and tropical storms, and the majority of our people is not prepared. The majority of our community, none of our community is prepared. Who do we blame for that? We knew this already 20 years ago after Hurricane Katrina. These are things that we know already, but yet our response to it conflicts with our understanding of it. We know that we as a people is not prepared for a natural disaster or any form of crisis, but yet we make no effort. I'm talking about the revolutionists and freedom fighters that talk that talk. What are we doing? What kind of services are we providing our community? What kind of training are we providing our community? If we're sincere about being the first responders, if we are the first responders to the various conditions and ills that face our community, then we must be well trained in responding. But not only that, preparing our community to respond. Where's our basic community programs that will teach our people how to survive a natural disaster? Providing them with bug out bags, providing them with first aid kits, providing them with first aid training. When do we and how do we evacuate a situation? We always wait to the last minute. That's why I say we think like checker players. The hurricane is coming. Now I'm going to get what I need to get out of here. But yet, here I am now in the water up to my neck talking about help. Why didn't I help myself to learn what needs to be learned so I could have survived that natural disaster? If you remember Hurricane Katrina, we had people sitting on top of a roof talking about help me. To the very government that told us, fuck you. What sense does that make? But again, you had all these revolutionaries, these freedom fighters, prior to Hurricane Katrina, talking shit about the same very government. But I asked the question again, what prevented you from preparing our communities? You are the first responder, not the government, not this so-called law enforcement. You are the first responder. What did you do? And here we are again, 20 years, and the community still not prepared. So the question comes again, what are you doing? Rhetoric do not fill empty bellies. House our homeless, clothe our people, or educate our people. That's just rhetoric. You can talk all you want to, but that's not going to help prepare our people for a natural disaster. But yeah, we keep talking about independence, this government's doing this and all this crap. We can't even govern our own community, let alone our own new African nation. Again, we just be talking. We keep speaking about self-government. We can't even govern our own goddamn community. And the same issue you see in our community is the same issue magnified tenfold you'll see in the country that you're trying to govern. What qualifies us to self-govern when we can't even self-govern our own community? We can sit and say, well, the government is doing this. Yes, they're doing all that. But what's stopping us from doing what needs to be done to resist that? What's stopping us from pulling our resources? Every year we talk about Kwanzaa, Umoja, Ujima, Ujamaa. We talk about all that during Kwanzaa. But there's nothing in our community to reflect the application of those principles. When we speak about self-determination outside of Kwanzaa, we talk about self-determination as a people. During the month of Kwanzaa, we talk about individual self-determination. It's been watered down, coon-like. Those are not the principles of our ancestors. We speak about unity. Every year, December 26th, the first day of Kwanzaa, we speak about unity. Ask yourself, yeah, I go there. Now, this is what I'm saying, brother. I left my website, our website right there. And I did that for a reason, right? Our whole entire website and newsletter deals with basic steps. Basic steps that you can do in your community and build from there. Basic steps from like a first aid kit. Finding programs in your community that will teach you emergency medical responses, from CPR, you name it. Take those lessons and teach your neighbor, teach your family. If you can't afford a bug out bag, you try to pull your resources together so you can buy a bug out bag. And all a bug out bag is a backpack with survival material in it. From band-aids, from gauze, to a compass, to a multi-purpose knife, to clean water, water tablets. So if you have to drink dirty water, you can purify that water. So I'm saying you can do that. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the survival, is what all we're doing is providing basic steps. You know, we're just providing basic steps when you look at our website as well as the manual itself, right? Even though the manual can be purchased at Amazon. I don't care nothing about that. We can also distribute it to you for free. You know, yeah. So you can also get it for free. We just use the Amazon process to help us finance what we're doing in terms of distributing our manual. But that's what it is. It's a basic blueprint. You know, not only just to prepare our community, individual, but also our community. It shows how the community can form their own emergency response network in the service of that community. Like today, we were just speaking on. I just left a meeting among some of the comrades speaking on just that. You know, on Facebook we have a page where we provide all the information to, under the same name, the Emergency Response Network or our Emergency Response Network. And on there is basic steps. We provide other information, contact information to different websites that will show you, you know. So it's on there, my brother, you know. And so the thing is, it's there. That's why I put the website up. You know, all that information from basic to advanced is on there. It's just a matter of taking the initiative to do what needs to be done, what is required of us to get the job done. And that's all. We have to take that initiative. Just like we study. Check this out. Me and my comrade Ashima, years ago, right? We talked, and like I said, he was trained because he was ex-Naval SEAL. So he's Special Force, right? So we both was trained, but he was thoroughly trained. And then he also aided and assisted me in training too, in first aid. One of the brothers here got stabbed 4 times. I mean, real bad, got stabbed 4 times, right? Instead of calling the medical unit, these pigs, we took him back to his cell, cleaned him up, put some stitches in him, and all that, right? And put band-aids on him, everything, and walked him to the medical. We asked the pigs, can we walk him to the medical? And we did. And when we got there, the pigs asked us, hey man, what happened to him? We told him, well, he fell down the stairs. And they started looking at us like, you know, but that's what you tell us when you beat up on us. We fell down the stairs. He fell down the stairs. But the thing is, we train ourselves for survival, even in here. I can't turn the light on, real. I can't turn the light on, but let me show you something. We do it in here. This here is a prison-made survival kit. We got gauze, cotton ball. We even got antibacterial soap, fingernails clippers, alcohol pads. We serious about this. You know, like I say, we don't use prison as an excuse. We train and teach the brothers in here as well. And we train to teach the brothers on how to have these survival kits, even in prisons. You know, because we're going to need them too in here. So, like I say, man, again, we walk that walk. We're not trying to impress nobody. We seriously believe in protecting and defending our community and our people on every level. Preparing our people for natural disasters and major crises is the process of defending our people. Arming them with the skills they need to defend themselves against any force. And that includes natural disaster. You know, and when you read our manual, and when you read the information we have on our website, we understand that there are different natural disasters that require different responses. You can have the same bug-out bag during an earthquake and the same bug-out bag during a hurricane or a tropical storm. How you use that bug-out bag will be different because the weather is different. The natural disaster that you're facing is different. Each natural disaster is going to require certain responses. How you may use one first aid kit will be completely different how you use it when you're dealing with another storm. Maybe tornado, Hurricane Katrina, wildfire, what have you, right? And we speak to all that in the manual as well as on our website too, right? I just want to be quick with that, right? But what I'm saying, we're going to start promoting our website more on Instagram too, right? Because we do a lot on Facebook and we do a lot on Zoom. And then we got brothers, comrades, brothers and sisters on the streets that conduct these training at various culture centers in the community, especially in Atlanta, Michigan, both in Michigan and Atlanta. But we're going to start expanding that, right? So our whole thing is to provide the community with that basic instruction, you know. So all they have to do is go to the website, you know, we can get them that pamphlet and just study the pamphlet, study with the brothers and sisters in your community. Share the information. Make an effort. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that we encourage people to do is have these drills. How do you evacuate your home? You can have these drills 3-4 times a year. What's stopping you? Especially if you live in the areas like where tornadoes and tropical storms and hurricanes at. You need that information. You know, how do you evacuate? You know, how do you prepare yourself for evacuation? And that's also in the pamphlet as well as in on the website.